Kia ora koutou katoa, it's Mrs. Goodson here, and this video is about writing a conclusion for a science investigation. So it's lesson 14 that follows on from our earlier lessons about respiration, how the heart rate and breathing rate increases for exercise, and then how we are going to collect data, process that data. And now we've processed the data, we can look at our results and see if we can see a trend. We're going to interpret the data to answer our question. Is our hypothesis going to be correct? So, what is a conclusion? A conclusion is a statement accepting or rejecting your hypothesis. Um, so we're going to say, is the hypothesis, our prediction, is it right or is it wrong? And we're going to look at the overall trend from our results. So we're going to link back to our hypothesis. Was it right or wrong? What was the trend? And a conclusion is just quite short. It's just a few sentences. We're going to elaborate further in our evaluation and in our discussion, but the conclusion is just a few sentences. So if we've done a line graph, we need to be able to interpret it. And what we're trying to see is if there's a relationship, and we're going to base our interpretation on how easy it is to put a line through all the points. And we call that our line of best fit. So the line of best fit goes through the middle of the data points, okay? So the middle. It's going to show us whether there is a strong, weak, or moderate relationship, or even no relationship. And we're going to say, is the relationship positive or negative? Let's look at some examples. So first of all, how strong is the relationship? So we had the independent variable along the x-axis and the dependent variable along the y-axis. We plot our points, and as you can see in this one, the line of best fit goes right through the middle of all the data points. So that shows that it's probably a very strong relationship between these two variables. And in this example, it's a positive relationship. So that means as the independent variable increases, the dependent variable is also going to increase. In this scatter plot, the precipitation is how much it rains. So as the amount of rain increases, the amount of cucumber yield from growing cucumber also increases, but it's not a very strong relationship. So there must be other factors that are affecting the cucumber yield. So we say that is either a weak or a moderate relationship. So the closer the points, all the data points are to the line, the stronger the trend, okay, the stronger the relationship. If there doesn't seem to be any connection between the two variables, it looks random, then there's probably no connection and there is no relationship. And this example is shoe size, which is an independent variable on the x-axis, and IQ on the y-axis. And this is probably what our hypothesis said. It doesn't matter what your shoe size is, it doesn't affect your IQ. And so the dots are all over the place. You can't draw a good line of best fit. Now, a positive relationship means that as the independent variable increases, the dependent variable also increases. So in this graph, it shows that a number of hours studied, the more hours you study, the more your exam score, higher your exam score will be. And there is a moderate to strong relationship there. Okay. So it's a positive relationship. A negative relationship, so as volume increases, or as pressure increases, the volume decreases and you get this negative slope on your line, okay? So we can look at our graph, we can look at our data, and we can come to a conclusion. And for example, we would just say we found that as the hours studied increased, the exam score increased, and there was a moderate positive correlation. My hypothesis was correct. Okay, or incorrect, depending on what you said in your hypothesis. But we are interpreting the graph, and this is an example of writing a conclusion. So you can write a conclusion for your practice assessment. So this video has been how to write a valid conclusion based on an interpretation of the process data that links to the aim.